Hi, in this video we will start to populate our P&L report. So when we talk about net sales values for 2018, we need to make the sum of column F, but took in consideration the year and the P&L column. So first we will take equal SUMIFs, press tab to open the brackets, and here we go with the argument sum range. The sum range represented by column F, because we want to make the sum of the cells from column F, which is the amount. The next argument, it's the criteria range 1, meaning the first criteria for our range. And the first criteria range, it's the year. So we need column I. The third argument is criteria 1, meaning the value of the criteria from our I column. And for us will be 2018. For the moment we will put like this, and going forward with criteria range 2. This is represented by P&L column, meaning J. And the last argument, but not least, it's criteria number 2. In our case, it's net sales. Let's write like this. I will close the brackets, hit enter, and here I have obtained the value, the total value of the net sales from 2018. Now, I will try to make some customizing steps in order to be more easy to complete the table. And for this, let me show you the first step by freezing our references. But let's go into the database and put a filter for net sales transactions for 2018, and let's check if the value is correct. So let's go into the database. I'm gonna go to data, sort and filter. On the P&L column I will choose net sales, and on the year column I'm gonna choose 2018. And as you can see, we have the amount, and the sum of them, it's 42.471. Here we go. So the formula is in a correct way. Now the second step, I'm going to freeze some reference for us in order to complete in a faster way our P&L structure. So for this I'm gonna copy the formula, but first I need to freeze column F, because if I want to change the year for 2019, the sum range will be always the same, because I always need to sum values from the amount column. This is column F. So I will freeze the cell, I will total freeze also the column database F. The next argument, it's database I column, which, if you remember, it's the year. And here we can also freeze this criteria range 1, because in any case I will try to put the year as a fixed reference. So F4. You always try to freeze your references by pressing F4 from the keyboard. 2018. it's the criteria value for our criteria range 1. And here we can use a cell reference that we will freeze partially. And for this, I will select here the text. It's 2018, and if I go to the cell C5 and click it, you'll see that the reference will change into the C5 cell. And here I can freeze the reference. Sorry, we need to change it to D4 because the criteria 1 is the year. So the correct value is D4. And here we need to freeze only the value of our column, because row, you see, it's row 4 and column D. Let me move this one like this. Now I think it's better. So we need to freeze just a value, because when we will change the formula from D5 to E5, basically we keep the row 4, but we change the column E from D to E. So for this, I'm gonna freeze only the row number, which is number 4, and I will press F4 one time, F4 second time, and here we go. The dollar sign, it's in front of our row, meaning the row it's freezed. The next argument, it's criteria range number 2. That will need always to be freezed, because we always have the category, the P&L category. And for the last argument, which is criteria number 2, we will use the same step as we used for 2018. So we will select the net sales text, going to C5, and here we go. This time we need to freeze that when we will copy the formula, we need to freeze only the cell value. Let's try the C value, and here we will change. So that's it. Let's try like this. Hit enter. And now we have for sure the same value for 2018, but if I'm dragging the value, let's check the formula. Double click, and here we go. We have 2019 and net sales. Hit enter, and let's check the value in our database manually. So we have 51.279. I will put again a filter, going to net sales, going to 2019, and the sum of them, it's 51.279. So we are safe. Now let's try to copy into the COGS line. So for this, we will select both cells and copy down. Let's try to check. Let's select all the values and going to Home tab and put number with some decreased decimals. And here you see it's number, but we don't have those separator. And for this, select again all the cells that we will complete, like figures, like numbers, and press Ctrl plus Shift and 1. And now decrease, and that's it. This is the format that we use for number. Now we have to check these formulas. The cost of goods sold for 2018. Double click here, and seems that we need to check again. So database F, it's the amount, it's correct. Database I, it's the year, and database J, it's the P&L category. All good. Here we have the same COGS in 2019. And also the reference that are totally freeze are valid. Let's try to make a manually check for cost of goods in 2018. You can also check by creating a pivot table. So we have 37.711, 37.711, and for 2019 we have 45.7656. That's it. So we are safe. Let's go forward. I will copy the gross margin formula, which is now the sum of them, but the next step for us is to put the minus sign for our costs. So this and this, all of these costs are with minus. So minus SUMIFs and minus SUMIFs. Here we go. Let's try to select again all our figures and start to format those that are less than 0 in order to be a difference between them. So less than 0, I want to make a custom format, and I'm going to select only the font color to the red and no fill. Click OK, and here we go. Good. So the gross margin for our first sum, it's in 2018 4.7k, and for 2019 it's 5.5k. So we have an increasing way. Next one, it's costs, operating costs. Let's try to copy this formula, and here we go. All good for us. Let's try to ignore this error, because Excel recognizes some difference in the sum, but we are safe. So the operational costs are 2000 for 2018 and 2000 for 2019. So straight equal. Now we can go again after we'll copy this EBITDA formula. Again, ignore error, and here copy above formula. Here we go. We have obtained the EBIT result. Also, I will copy the financial costs, and we are clear. So, as you can see, just the first option, just the first read of our report show us that in 2018 we sold 42k with growth in 2019, but due to some DNA costs we have a bad result comparing with last year. So this is the first result, this is the first view of our P&L for last 2 years, and now we can start to format if you want the cells. First, let's try to create a kind of dashboard without grid lines, and here we'll put P&L, just like a title. Okay, so here we have 2018 and 2019, and these are our totals. Let's try to change a little bit the format to make more readable. Here we go. Good. So what is important is that we saw how can we populate the table by using the SUMIFs from our database sheet.